Hey, what's going on out there? I'm Sean Devine. Hope you all are doing well. Welcome to a new tutorial where we're going to utilize Reverb as an emotional mixing tool. I'm going to demonstrate how Reverb is not just for creating space and separation in our mix. It's arguably the most powerful tool we have for creating emotion and vibe and feel for the individual elements in our mix, as well as across our mix. I'll also reveal an advanced technique that is incredibly easy to set up, and it allows us to worry less about trying to chase these perfect reverb settings in terms of decay times and pre-delay and even EQ to some extent. You don't need to worry about trying to keep that reverb out of the way. We're going to set this and forget it and be able to focus on being more creative with our reverb in the mix. So let's go ahead and dive in. We have an electric piano in this session, and I think this is a good example because musically it's incredibly simple, but with this reverb, very effective. So let's play it back dry. Very simple chords here. Let's mix in the Seventh Heaven reverb now. Now, I'm sure not all of you are impressed by the musicality of those keyboard chords, but what I can guarantee you is that just by mixing in this authentic space, I did make you feel something, and that is what we're after. Let's keep it moving here. We got a guitar in the chorus. I'll play that back. Again, a very simple musical example, but in this case, we are running all of those guitars to an aux, and I wanted to send them all through this same space here, this West Church, which I really like the vibe and the feel of this. We've got a big 6-second decay time. Don't worry about washing it out. We're going to take this a step further. It is going to get a little bit more advanced, I promise. But let's check that out just here with it at full wetness and just running that down here to our guitar verb aux. Let's take it a step further, shall we? We're going to click on this arrow here, and we're going to open up the advanced controls, and we're going to activate what's called the ducker. Now, if you're not familiar with what a ducker is or a sidechain, it's just going to take our incoming signal, and as that signal approaches or crosses, rather, the threshold, it will actually duck or attenuate the reverb signal itself, meaning that we can retain our dry signal, transients, the dynamics of the sound, but we get more of the tail of the reverb as it goes below the threshold. So let me let you hear that in action. We're going to lower the threshold, and you'll start to see some gain reduction over here, which means that the ducker is attenuating. So even with that monster 6-second decay time, I'm not using any pre-delay. I don't need a pre-delay necessarily because, again, that ducker is going to attenuate actively and dynamically with our incoming signal. As soon as we turn that on, it's going to kind of clear that out, make sure we're getting the vibe of the space and the reverb, but we're not getting that super washy sound that's not going to work in the mix. Let's jump over to the element of our mix that I imagine most of you are having the issues with in terms of mixing reverb, which would be for vocals. Now, fair warning, I am going to use a rap vocal as the example in our video today. If you're still not open-minded to hip-hop, I would encourage you to explore. There's a lot of it out there and it's not going anywhere. I would also just note that mixing rap vocals is not that much different than mixing any other vocals. So for those of you who are more genre specific, these things are going to be utilized the exact same way, no matter what type of music that you're doing. There may be some small stylistic differences, but anyway, I do hear comments sometimes about genre specific things, and mixing is not that much different across genres in terms of just the general practices. So that all being said, let's take a listen to our verse, just dry without any reverb.
Substance reliance, a defiance of my maker, it's a violence on myself. I can't blame on no one else. God is my grace, my source of wealth.
A lot of times when I'm mixing hip hop, my clients will want their vocal to be very upfront, but they do want reverb on it. And it's not to create space. It's not to kind of mask the fact that the vocal is really dry. It's to create an emotion or a vibe. So I have a small room, Studio B here in 7th Heaven. We're just going to turn that on now.
Try to drink away all the pain, but I could not sustain with this anxiety in my brain. Blanking on the words to say, wish that I could talk to you.
So it sounds cool, but a little bit washy. Let's hear it in the context of the mix.
Oh, we ain't got to lose. Try to drink away all the pain, but I could not sustain with this anxiety in my brain. Blanking on the words to say, wish that I could talk to you, be on this walk with.
I like the feel of it, but it's just too much. I don't need to worry about EQing this or setting a pre-delay. That's not going to help us necessarily in this situation. All I need to do is turn on the ducker and set the threshold accordingly.
Try to drink away all the pain, but I could not sustain with this anxiety in my brain. Blanking on the words to say, wish that I could talk to you, be on this walk with you, even though I wanted to.
So already more controlled. Now, if we click this little arrow here, take it a step further, we can process the late reverb, which means only the later reflections, or we can do the entire wet mix of the reverb, which in 7th Heaven's case, you've got the early, the late, and then the very low frequency reverb. So we want to control all that. So I'll hit wet mix.
Try to drink away all the pain, but I could not sustain with this anxiety in my brain. Blanking on the words to say, wish that I could talk to you, be on this walk with you, even though I wanted to. Substance reliance, a defiance of my maker, it's a violence on myself. I can't blame on no one else.
Nice, clean, controlled sound, but a really cool, vibey space there. Let's hear it in the context of the mix. I'll turn the ducker on and off.
Violence on myself, I can't blame on no one else. God is my grace, my source of wealth. So deep in prayer, meditate, stay well. So what do I know? Well, I know I can't do it by myself. I tried 1,000 times while I miss.
Next time you're mixing a vocal and you want it to be up front, you don't want to create too much separation, but you want the vibe of the reverb, check out the ducker and set that and see what it does for you. I promise it's going to be a lot quicker and easier and more effective than spending hours trying to EQ and set your pre-delay and all that stuff. Not that that's not important and that you shouldn't know how to do those things, but again, for subtle uses of reverb like this, and more importantly, getting emotion and vibe, side chaining and ducking is definitely something you want to use in tandem to make sure that you're getting the most out of this. I hope this gets your wheels turning in terms of using Reverb as a creative tool in your mixing process. If you have something you'd like to add or you have a question, feel free to leave a comment below. If you got something from the video, please like, subscribe, and consider sharing, and we'll see you in the next one. God bless.